Up top this morning, members of the Ironworkers Local 22 met last night in Lafayette to talk about the firing of a dozen members who decided not to continue working in dangerous heat.
News Channel 18's Nicole Kahn talked exclusively with one worker who was hospitalized for heat exhaustion. He says after some division, the union members are brothers once again.
Job foreman Greg Thomas is out of the hospital after being there 3 days for heat exhaustion and kidney failure. He suffered on a job at Purdue's Co-Rec during intense heat last week.
I got dizzy and the heat kind of got to me. Everything, my world started spinning and I started vomiting.
He's also out of a job. Thomas is one of a dozen workers who left after saying it was too hot to work in dangerous heat.
They were in the sun all the day and the heat comes up off the iron pretty bad. Lunchtime, all the men came off the iron and they said it's just too hot. And they kind of made it sound like we were dismissed because we refused to work at all, and we didn't. You know, they wanted us to work 10 hours and we said the crew said they'd work 8, and I was cool with it.
He says the crew gave the employer, Columbus Steel Erectors, 2 hours notice that Wednesday they would be leaving early.
The boss over there told us if we left in 8 hours, we were fired. So everybody stuck together. We went home. I come back in Thursday morning. They told us we were fired.
Other workers from the Ironworkers Local 222 were then called to the job. Thomas says that created some hard feelings between members.
Some of the guys that were over there that lost their jobs kind of give these guys a hard time for going and taking that job.
But he says the situation was resolved after the men talked at the meeting. The men who were fired will pick up different jobs, and the union is moving on.
Everybody was able to air their differences, and I think we're back to being a brotherhood.
More intense heat is on the way. Thomas says members learned from the situation and will handle a similar problem differently next time. Nicole Kahn, News Channel 18.